Welcome viewers to another edition of Brave Namibia, where we celebrate both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. In our first clip today, we're in the capital, where old Hoorn spoke to the founder of Home of Good Hope, Monica Imanga, and her colleague Leonie Vatter.
My name is Monica Imanga, and I'm the founder of Home of Good Hope. Yes.
Thank you. Would you mind telling us a bit about the history of Home of Good Hope?
Yes, Home of Good Hope, we started 2007 with Home of Good Hope. That's when my daughter passed away in 2007 due to HIV and AIDS. And then after that, I said to myself, let me give back to the community, especially to the needy children. But before that, I was a manager at the Revendale Guest House. So I quitted my job and then I started with Home of Good Hope.
Okay.
Yes.
May I ask how old your daughter was?
Yeah, she was only 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you start with this? Where did you get the resources, stuff like that?
You know, after her passing, then I left my job, as I said. So with the money that I had, so that's how I started with Home of Good Hope. And when I started with 45 children. Yes.
How many do we have today?
Today we have 1,200 on a daily basis from Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
So the entire week.
That's right.
And the venue here, I don't think is big enough to fit all of those kids at once. Would you maybe tell us about the logistics?
Yeah, not at all. The venue is very small, as you can see for yourself. In the mornings, actually, the place that we are in right now, it also serves as a classroom for me in the mornings. Yeah, but then around 10:30, that's when the food arrives, and then we have to go out and then, singing worship songs and then praying and then start dishing the food. So most of the children, some of them, due to COVID since that time, they come with their own plates. So we dish in their plates, but most of them just come and sit, and it's long queues outside. So once the ones are finished, and then they go out, make space for the others. So that's our daily routine.
Okay, and
Yes.
The classes you have here, the teaching,
Yes.
more or less what type of, because it's quite young kids that you have here.
Actually, it's from the age of, we are catering for children from baby,
Okay.
yeah, up to the age of 16.
Okay, so
Yeah.
quite a big age.
Exactly. It was even more than that, but due to COVID, finances and so on, so then we had to cut the high school children. So yeah, that's it, yes.
How does this project get funded?
Yes, we do get funds from the Netherlands and from Germany, and from our locals. We have Namib Mills that is also supporting us, and then the Emmanuel Church. On a weekly basis, every Wednesday, they are supporting us.
Okay.
Yes.
And is this just financial support, or what type of other support do you get as well?
No, Emmanuel, they do give us food and some meat bones as well. So financial wise, it's only from the Netherlands and from Germany. And it's never enough since the number is like growing on a daily basis.
How could people help support this project?
Well, first of all, they could start by entering our competition. And for that, if you go onto our website, it's homeofgoodhopenam.org. Then you can see the fundraiser is there. And for every donation of $100, you get entered into the draw for the first prize. Every donation of $50, you entered into the draw for the safari hat, second prize. And then for donations of $20, then you enter in for the coloring in book. And then secondly, what we are really looking for is people to look into their hearts and say, look, I can donate maybe $20 a month. And then I then have a stop order, $20 a month. But then when you add all those $20 or whatever, however much people feel they can supply, that's what we're aiming for in the long term. Then we know that our rent is covered. If for any reason the Netherlands stops funding or whatever, then at least we know our rent is covered, the rent of the kitchen, and our real basics are covered. So yeah, that's what our ideal would be, is that people donate a small amount per month, which we then add up and use it for those basics.
Okay. You mentioned that this project has been going on since 2007. How have you seen any effects on the community this has had? Any community stories that you would like to share with us?
Oh, yes, I do have great stories actually. Like from the children that used to eat with us, some of them are now teachers. We have lawyers.
We have a chef.
We have a chef as well. So, yeah, we've been helping them throughout their education. And even the ones that studies law, we are still helping. Yes.
Because we don't only feed the children.
Yeah.
We make sure they've got their school fees or whatever
Yes.
they need for school, that they've got school uniforms. And starting with Monica, a lot of them have come from the north. They don't even have birth certificates or anything. So she's got to start getting birth certificates and then trying to place them in the schools around us that know us for many years, that have been here. And then those that don't, like the little ones, we prepare them to be school ready, and then we place them in those schools that work with us. And then it also works both ways, because the schools also sometimes call Monica and say, look, there's this family, the father has lost his job and they are really struggling. And then so the schools then refer children to us as well. And like the high school students, we then get sponsors for their tertiary education. So we would love to be able to sponsor more children through the tertiary education system. And then we also have some German funders who then sponsor a child. And so they pay food for the home as well. They pay clothing, they pay school fees for that child. So we currently have 30, it ranges sometimes from 28 to 32, depending on the finances that they are able to collect. So that's also a program we would like to grow, is where somebody says, I am paying so much for this child. And then they follow that child through to high school, through to tertiary education. That's also a dream of ours, is that someone adopts a child, so to say.
Is there any other of these aspirations like this, adopting a child and sending them all the way through to university? Is there any other of these type of projects in the work?
Well, what we have is, what we do is we have doctors and nurses that come and look at the children regularly. But now we are in the process of purchasing a plot in Monica Street and building. We've got a donor who's going to fund the building of that center. And then we want to start with a clinic. So even before those babies are born, the mothers are taken care of. Then they go in and then they through the nutrition program, into the school program, into the sports program, because we have soccer, netball, hockey as well. And, keep the children there. And we would love to, part of that is we would love to then offer cultural training, so that teachers come and teach different musical instruments, dance, different cultural aspects. Because in Namibia, a lot of children, if you look at the potential of a child, maybe it isn't an academic career, maybe they are culturally talented. So we would like to broaden the scope for children in terms of their career plans and career aspirations in that way. And having the new facility will really help with that. And then Monica also didn't say that we look after teenage mothers. So Monica makes sure that once the baby's born, we look after the baby. There's a food parcel so they're not thrown away by the family. And then we make sure that she makes sure that those children go back to school, and so that their children are safe while they are back at school. And that's a big priority for Monica, very close to her heart.
Okay. Would you mind elaborating on why that specific project is so important to you?
Oh yes, if we look to the teenage pregnancy, and these girls are pregnant, being impregnated by older men or men that are already married. They are married, and then, these girls, after falling pregnant and having their babies, then they feel like this is the end of the world, But then for me, it's like, this is not the end of the world. That's the beginning. So go back to school and pull up your socks. And for me, education is key, especially to the girl child. So they have to go back to school. Yeah, so that's why it's so close to my heart. Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Explore the beauty of Namibia with our car rentals. From wide open spaces to the plains of Namibia's national parks. Enjoy the freedom of the open road. Go anywhere you want, whenever you want. We've got you covered, even in the most remote locations. Visit our website and see what we have to offer.
I'm sure you've heard the news, and Namibia is calling. And it's time to answer with a smile. From the rolling sand dunes of Sossusvlei to the wildlife wonders of Etosha National Park, Namibia is a treasure trove of natural beauty and adventure. With Enjoy, booking the most renowned lodges is as easy as a desert breeze. Picture yourself sipping coffee on a deck, watching the sunrise. Paint the sky in hues of gold and orange. Or how about a thrilling safari, capturing memories that'll last a lifetime? Our easy-to-use website hosts the most beautiful lodges Namibia has to offer. Whether you crave luxury or a cozy hideaway, we've got you covered. So pack your bags and let's turn your dream adventure into reality. Namibia awaits, and with Enjoy, your perfect stay is just a click away.
Next, we head to Hoorn in the Netherlands, where Rico and Jodie Louw, originally from Windhoek, live these days. They spoke to Christine Creer.
Hallo. Ek is Rico
En I'm Jodie.
en ons bly in Nederland. Ons het Oktober 2021 Nederland toe getrek van Namibia af, obviously. Sit altyd in Windhoek gebly. En ons het aanvanklik Amsterdam toe getrek vir 'n werksgeleentheid wat ek hier gekry het. En intussen het ons na 'n klein dorpie noord van Amsterdam getrek met die naam van Hoorn, waar ons nou bly in ons eie huis en ja, ons maak ons lewe nou hier vir onsself.
Yeah, so this is our second video for the Republicane, and we have previously done one with a bit more detail of what it's like to live here and that. So this is more of a sort of life update video and what we've been getting up to since our last video.
Ja. So vir die van julle wat die vorige video gekyk het of nie die vorige video gekyk het nie, ons het genoem dat ons gaan begin triathlon doen in die vorige video. So ons het stadig gaan begin oefen al teen die tyd wat ons die update gegee het. En oor die afgelope jaar het my oefening redelik opgebou. Ek het my program gekry van die Stellenbosch Triathlon Squad af, want dit is die enigste triathlon squad waarvan ek geweet het, omdat ek daar studeer het. So toe het ek hulle kontak gevra vir 'n program, en hulle het my gecoach online basis, en ja, oor die loop van die jaar opgebou, en dit het gekom tot 'n peak toe ek uiteindelik my Ironman event gedoen het in Oostenryk die 16de Junie van die jaar. So vir die wat nie weet nie, Ironman is 3.8 km swem, 180 km fietsry en 'n marathon hardloop. So dit was ook my eerste marathon wat ek gehardloop het.
Yeah, and then given that I never saw Rico, I decided that I'll start training with him. So it started off by running with him, and then his bike rides got longer. So then obviously I needed a bicycle, so got a road bike. So I started biking with him, and this sort of happened from September to December. So Rico was already 6 months into his training. But then in the town that we live, there is a 70.3, which is a half Ironman. So it's half the distance of what Rico does. So a 1.8k swim, a 90-kilometer bike, and run half a marathon. So I decided that, well, why not? How hard can it be again? That I would also enter it and then start swimming as well. So in the beginning of this year, I basically learned to freestyle from scratch, and then within about 3 to 4 months, successfully swam 1.9 kilometers in open water. So that was a challenge and a lot to learn. And I think it's safe to say that the triathlon bug has bitten us.
Ja, as gevolg van die tyd wat ons spandeer het en obviously al die equipment wat ons moes opbou om dies te kan doen, het ons gedink dit gaan 'n skande wees om nie nog te doen nie. So ons het klaar ingeskryf vir Jodie vir 2, ek vir 1. So ons doen in April volgende jaar nog 'n 70.3 in Valencia in Spanje en dan het Jodie klaar ingeskryf vir die een in ons dorp weer vir volgende jaar. Ek het nog nie, maar ek is seker ek sal ook vir nog iets inskryf. So definitief baie om na uit te sien.
Yeah, and at the moment we're training for the Amsterdam Marathon, which is in October. So for me, that will be my first marathon, and for Rico, his second for the year, which is pretty cool. But it's really fun to train for something. So that's where 80% of our time has been going, honestly. So, but it's nice. You learn a lot about yourself.
So een van die hoofredes vir ons hoekom ons enigstens oorweeg het om te kom is om makliker te kan travel en meer gereeld te kan travel en spesifiek Europese lande te sien en die kultuur te beleef en so aan. So ons het regtig probeer 'n punt maak daarvan, veral tussen al die triathlon oefeninge, om actually te kan travel. So ons het laas jaar vir Jodie se verjaarsdag, vir haar 30ste verjaarsdag, 'n roadtrip gedoen van hier af basies Tuscany toe en terug. So ons het deur Frankryk daar oorgeslaap en toe deur Switserland en so 'n paar aande op verskillende plekke in Tuscany oorgebly. So basies Florence en San Gimignano en Pienza en toe Siena en toe Milan en toe deur Duitsland terug hierheen. So dit was regtig 'n amazing geleentheid. Ek weet nie hoe gereeld mense noodwendig as ons nou al die pad van Namibia af moes vlieg sulke trips kan doen. So dis regtig iets wat ons oor baie bly is en ook baie obviously bevoorreg is om dit te kon doen. So klomp groot bucket list goed getik, soos die David standbeeld in Florence te sien en net al die ou Italiaanse dorpies en die kos en die kultuur daar te beleef. So dit was regtig 'n amazing trip. En toe obviously baie geoefen oor die tyd wat gevolg het. Ons het actually ons Desember vakansie by die huis gebly en ons vloere self oorgedoen, wat ook nog als 'n tipiese Nederlandse ding is om te doen. Enigiets wat jy by jou huis wil doen jy maar self. En toe die volgende bietjie travel wat ons kon doen was toe nou vir my Ironman. Dit was ten minste ook in 'n ander land, so ons was toe Oostenryk toe in 'n klein dorpie Klagenfurt in die suide van die land. So dit was toen ook 'n lekker geleentheid om iets nuuts te sien en ons was toevallig baie naby aan die grens van Slovenië. So toe het ons sommer oor die grens gery die een dag na Bled toe. Net om nog 'n land te tik, want dit is so eenvoudig eintlik. So toe doen ons maar dit en
We went to Paris via train for 2 nights and we watched some of the Olympics. So we had tickets for the men's 100-meter final sprint, which was quite an experience to see. I think, 10 seconds, but really cool to experience and just appreciate the sportsmanship sort of that. And in addition to that, we were, so the tickets were not like for a whole day, but sort of certain sort of amount of hours, and then there were some other events prior to the 100-meter final, and that was the women's high jump and the hammer throw, which was really cool to actually see how fast their legs go. And then there were some 400-meter runs for the ladies and 1,500-meter run for the men also, but not final. So it was only the hammer throw that was the final, the high jump, and of course the sprint, which was super cool. So that was Paris, and it was nice. They closed off a lot of the streets. For those of you that have been to Paris know it, it's really chaotic. So we didn't have much time, given that the main reason we were there was the Olympics, but we did find time to go up to the Eiffel Tower, of course, and just do a lot of walking around, which is always very nice and good, and eating, of course. And then that's the only holidays we have had this year. Because next year we will be flying home in January. So we'll spend a week in Namibia and visit some family. And then a week in South Africa, my sister's getting married in St. Francis Bay. So that's going to be very cool. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So we're saving for that and saving our leave. And it's a good time to go because during that time, it's obviously extremely cold here and dark and wet. So it will be nice to get some sunshine and a little break.
Soos ek in die begin genoem het, ons het aanvanklik hierheen getrek vir 'n werk wat ek gekry het. En ek was in daai selfde rol basies nou vir 2,5 jaar, min of meer. Maar ek het begin Junie actually by 'n nuwe werk begin, of 'n nuwe rol begin in my vorige werk. So dit was nogals 'n interessante balans om te kry tussen 2 weke voor my Ironman event actually met 'n nuwe werk te begin en obviously die interviewproses deur te gaan en alles. So dit was 'n challenging tyd, maar sover is die nuwe werk nogals definitief die moeite werd gewees om te skryf. So ja, voel soos 'n bietjie van 'n nuwe begin ook vir ons. So ja, voel asof ek nog nie gereed is om te verander of op te gee of so nie. So dis definitief 'n exciting tyd gewees. En soort van selfde vir Jodie.
Yeah, I also started a new job. So I was working in insurance, and in the sort of 2.5 years we were here, not quite finding my feet. So I decided in the beginning of the year that I needed a change. I wasn't quite sure what that change was. So I decided that I would resign from my corporate job. And an opportunity came up and it just felt really right and all the cards fell into place. And in September, so I've sort of been on a wellness break for the past 2 months, studying a bit. And so in September, I will start as a coach, a CrossFit coach, / personal trainer. And at the moment, I am studying to become an endurance coach. So programming for Ironman and triathletes. So that's pretty cool, amongst other things. So that's sort of our job updates. So one thing we are asked about quite a bit by people here is if we miss home and if we go home every year. Yes, we miss home a lot, but the homesick does get better and winters are becoming more tolerable. And summers obviously make it all totally worth it. And although we want to go home, every year or every twice in a year even, that would be the ideal situation. It's not always possible, but we have been really fortunate with having friends and family visit us, or they happen to be in Europe, so they just combined their trip with a little stay at us. So that really has helped a lot, because we have not been home in almost 2 years, actually. So it's tough, but we've been fortunate by having the little trickles of people.
Oor die laaste 2 jaar was my ouers hier gewees, Jodie se ma was hier, Jodie se suster was hier, my niggie en haar man was hier.
My brother and my stepdad were here, and we've seen some friends whenever they were in Amsterdam as well. So that really helps.
Baie help om daarom bekende gesigte te sien en 'n bietjie Afrikaans te kan praat met die wat Afrikaans is. En ons het dan ook meer en meer begin vriende maak met mense hier. Jodie bietjie meer met die Nederlanders, vir as gevolg van die werk by CrossFit en so aan. En ook redelik 'n paar vriende met ander expats gemaak, so dit is nogals, ons begin meer en meer ingesettel raak en definitief maak dit bietjie gemakliker om dit soos huis te laat voel en nie altyd te verlang na die vorige mense of vorige tye nie. So dit is nogals 'n bonus om dit bietjie makliker te maak. Maar so wat ons ook genoem het in ons vorige video en wat ek maar net weer sal noem is, ons het intussen 'n YouTube channel begin. So ons het obviously ons hele task in die trip en enigiets wat ons doen wat ons dink is interessant, sit ons daarop. So as enigiemand sou belangstel om bietjie meer detail te sien as wat ons hier kan gee, voel gerus vry om te gaan kyk wat ons doen en wat ons in die toekoms gaan doen. So dis dit.
Thank
Hoop julle
you.
het dit geniet.
Yeah, tot, as the Dutch would say, tot het volgende keer.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you know of someone you feel should feature on our show, please contact us at brave@synergy.com.na.